since the Jasmine brand decided to, elevate her and make this a conversation. So let's start off with this claim about Donald Trump's Platinum Plan.
But what other policies do you want to highlight that Trump is pushing for his campaign that really showed themselves to you?
I would just focus on the fact that when he did not secure the re-election, there was a platinum plan on the table that he consulted with Ice Cube and a couple other prominent Black business owners. Mm-hmm. I mentioned it in my speech, but of course the Shade Room didn't post that, so nobody knows about it. Mm-hmm. But that increases $500 billion of capital in the Black community, brings back 500,000 jobs, gives incentives to big companies to hire felons, gives incentives to, of course, there's opportunity zones, which are mentioned, which gives incentives to developers to come and revamp the area. The fact that Trump just has a plan, period, for Black people, and Kamala does not.
Okay, let's talk about it. Here is the Platinum Plan, and you can see that it was on Donald Trump's 2020 campaign website. That CDN at the top shows this is the old campaign website from 2020. Here's page 2 of it. You can see it in all its glory. It describes some of the things that you heard this young lady talk about regarding Donald Trump's alleged plans for Black America. But I want you to check out on this CNN headline about Donald Trump's proposed plans for Black America. I want you to just take a look here at the date on this article. That is October 7, 2020. That's literally a month before Election Day in 2020. By then, Donald Trump had been president of the United States for nearly 4 whole years. So you're saying he only launched his plan for Black America at the end of his first 4 years? What was he doing the other 3.5 years? Did he not have a plan for Black America before that? And please don't say historic funding for HBCUs, because that was passed by the Democratic Congress. And don't say the STEMI also passed by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and them. That wasn't Trump. And now I just want to show you Donald Trump's current campaign website. Okay, here we go. It's going to scroll right in front of me right now. Take a look, and tell me, stop me when you see the Platinum Plan. Just going to keep scrolling. Do you see the Platinum Plan? Do you see that in his current website? This is his current website. Do you see the Platinum Plan? I don't see the Platinum Plan. Do you see the Platinum Plan? What happened to the Platinum Plan? What I do see, however, is this. Donald Trump's current plan, which is in his current website, where he's showing his policies that he would implement in his second Trump term, cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial or sexual or political content on our children. Sounds to me like he wants to ban Black history and anything that looks or smells like the 1619 Project. Is that what you're asking Black folk to be down with? Because I don't think that's the Platinum Plan. And in addition to that, what you are asking Black voters to support is somebody who has a long history of being accused of flat-out racism, specifically against Black people. This is from the Associated Press. The federal government sued Donald Trump and his father's real estate company, which is the same company he runs now. He just runs it without the daddy, because the daddy's gone, for allegedly discriminating against Black apartment seekers in the 1970s. Black pastors also accused the New York businessmen of stirring racial animus during the Central Park 5 rape case in the 1980s.
So I wanted to get to the bulk of it, because I wanted to take every accusation she made and go step by step through it. Because this is why this channel and channels like ours is very important, because we want to debunk the lies. We sat and watched Kamala Harris do the CNN interview. She said a bunch of lies. Joy Reid continues to push a bunch of lies. So I want to respond to what she said. Okay.
Well, my first thought was she automatically equates CRT with Black history. I don't even know how she got from the Platinum Plan to Black history. She was a little, I don't know, all over the place. But I really think that something is going on with Joy mentally. I do. It's particularly this last year. She is having a TDS breakdown. That's what I really think.
Yeah, she's nutty. She is nutty.
She kept saying something like Black America. Like, we just have America. And that's the goal, is that we don't call it white America, Black America, Hispanic America. It shouldn't be like that. And that's what she and people on the left keep pushing for, this division. And that's what I really hated about this.
I agree. That's number one. We should not have any president that is basing their policies or saying what they're going to do for white people, what they're going to do for Black people. That should not be the language here. Now, if you want to say you're going to assist a certain, poverty-stricken people, middle class, something like that, but to just refer to people based off of their race is identity politics, and it's something that should not be done. It just shouldn't. Let's address her Platinum Plan stuff that she was saying. First, when Trump was in office back in he was elected in 2016. In 2018, he signed an executive order aimed at helping economically distressed communities, building off of a provision in his tax cut. Okay, right. His tax cut law. So the order created a White House panel dubbed the Opportunity and Revitalization Council, which was led by Ben Carson. Remember, guys can Google this. And basically it was set up with 13, it was representatives there, right. And it was the opportunity zones. And so it was there to push government resources towards impoverished neighborhoods and things like that. That is what the opportunity zones did. And he did it when he was in office. So the Platinum Plan that was part of his plan when he was running for office was just a continuation of what he had already done. Right. Dummy.
First of all, Joy doesn't, she mentioned this date 2020. Well, if the plan was initiated, the law was signed in 2017, then the opportunity zones came out of that law. You're right. So 2020 would be, you would have at least 2 or 3 years worth of data to find out, how the plan is doing, if it's working, if it's in the right direction, things like that. And also in 2020, this is from the U.S. EDA, the Economic Development Administration. And let me tell you what they said, quote, if you go to their page, it says, created by President Donald J. Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, the opportunity zones are spurring economic development and job growth in economically distressed communities across the country. So I don't understand why she has this problem with 2020, trying to make it seem as if that was when it was first. No, she's lying. She's supposed to be, I don't know, a journalist, a pundit or whatever. She's trying to mislead you. Nobody institutes some kind of plan, particularly not in the federal government, at the same year or month, and then all of a sudden you have all this data to say, oh, it's just posted. She's lying.
Yeah, she's lying, and she's trying to misinform. It's a misinformation. Yes, he did put forth the Platinum Plan, which was part of his re-election plan. That was on his website, but it was something that was a continuation of what he had already done.
Exactly.
And he did call it, as far as the candidacy, he did say something about it was for Black people, whatever, but he was already helping people, impoverished people, and having economic hardships. If they were Black, white, yellow, purple, whatever, he was already helping it. And we saw that because we had more money in our pockets during the 4 years when he was in office.
Right.
She's a liar. And this is what I hope people aren't falling for, these lies and the way that she tries to word this stuff. Okay, I want to move on to something else she said regarding, again, they keep pushing this whole during the Central Park 9 and saying Trump was a racist and that he had what was it? That she said something about this federal government sued him for discrimination. They did, but they did not prove their case. They sued, but it was that he was not found guilty of discrimination.
Right.
See, they tell half truths.
Mm-hmm.
This is the platinum plan she was referring to. This was what was on his re-election site. This was part, if he was going to be reelected, this was something he put on here. And let us say, at least he had a website with his information on there.
Exactly.
We can't even go to Kamala Harris's site and find two plan, a gold plan, a silver plan. She don't have any plan on there. So, people, why don't she talk about that? And she mentions that a little bit more in that rant that she does, where she says, even though Kamala Harris doesn't have anything on her website, she knows her plan. She talks about it in her ads. And that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Kamala doesn't have anything on her website, like if you were to go to a business and you want to check out like what they're about and you see it not like almost no information on there and they're asking for donations for some reason, you're gonna think it's a scam.
Yeah.
So like that, her website literally looks like a scam website.
It certainly does. And there was a political article out last week that mentioned, I don't think she's planning on putting anything on the website. They mentioned that the campaign was actually not going to put up her plan, was going to wait after the election and then put something up. Yeah,
so they literally can change anything at this point.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have a Marxist takeover. If they win, it's gonna be like, oh, everything I said was not what I actually meant because the end justifies the means.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. How can we hold her to account if she won't even put it on her website?
And let me say something about her newsstands on the wall. So all of a sudden she's saying that there should be a wall at the southern border. But what if they really want to take over the control of this country, turn this into some sort of dystopian Marxist country, and the wall is to keep us in?
Right.
We can't go anywhere anymore.
Oh, I believe that you remember these communists, they want us to only drive or live within certain size homes, drive a certain distance. Oh, that is very much, very possibility.
People in the Soviet Union couldn't leave.
Exactly.
Wow.
My values have not changed.
Reduce red meat specifically.
Yes.
The Boston Marathon bomber. They should be able to vote.
I think we should have that conversation.
Abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes, and I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I am prepared to pass a Green New Deal.
I support a mandatory buyback program. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross borders criminals. The idea that more police equals more safety, that's just wrong.
Policing, as we know, goes all the way back to slave patrols and that idea.
Yeah, you are absolutely right.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
We need to take a look at these budgets.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should.
70 to 80% tax rate.
I think that's fantastic.
Chipping now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas?
And yeah, I am radical. I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing.